Today, I spoiler free a movie that combines oh geez and you betcha Fargo vibes with John Wick, or maybe more appropriate to this movie, John Gustafson. That movie is Normal, which combines hot dish with hot action, with Bob Odenkirk playing a sheriff who finds out that all is not normal in Normal, Minnesota. If dealing with grumpy old men in this small town was all he had to deal with, that'd be a luxury. He's not that lucky, as you'll learn on today's Movies Merica Live.
In a world where the number of movies available is great, but many are so bad, you'll learn a new definition of hate. One man sifts and reviews through the movie sludge. One man will be the movie cop, jury, and judge. He goes by many names, but you know him by Movies Merica.
Well, happy Sunday, everybody. Welcome to this latest episode of Movies Merica Live. As always, I am your not-so-humble host, Van Ebert, a.k.a. Movies Merica, and I want to welcome my movie maniacs and my fellow freedom-fueled film fanatics here today to Movies Merica HQ. And then if we have any newbies in here, any Daisy Fresh rookies to the show, hey, well, welcome. Good to see you here as well. Thanks for watching, even if it's just for a few minutes. And I always remind everybody that, hey, you know what? Even if you can only watch for a few minutes, hey, go ahead and do that. And you know what? The best thing is it's free. Exactly. There we go. It's free. I know that's what matters to a lot of people nowadays. Like, yeah, but it doesn't cost anything. Does it even cost a nickel? Doesn't even cost a nickel. All you gotta do is just fire up the show link there. It'll get you into the show. You'll just be watching the show. And yeah, watch for a few minutes at absolutely no cost to you. Okay, there you go. But today we're going to be talking about Normal, as I said there in the intro, with Bob Odenkirk, doing kind of a variation of his character from the Nobody movies, where he looks like some normal middle-aged guy, fighting, love handles and, not being able to satisfy his wife. But secretly, he's like some, ex-special forces professional hitman character. But in Normal, he's neither of those last two things, okay? He's not special forces. He's not John Rambo in this movie right here. But it's still exciting all the same right there. But before we really do a deep dive on this movie here, just want to remind everybody that we do have the live chat available on this show. I mean, that's one of the perks of doing a live show here. And nothing says that you have to get into the live chat and, write War and Peace or, or a whole novel in there. You can simply get in the live chat and give me a thumbs up emoji or, just say hi or anything like that. Again, free of charge, doesn't cost you anything whatsoever right there, everybody. Okay. And, let's get into it. Let's get into some Normal here. And let's make Normal seem normal, okay? But this movie is directed by Ben Wheatley. I know. You're like, that Ben Wheatley? Household name Ben Wheatley? I kid. I know. Nobody knows who Ben Wheatley is, okay? More people know Ben Folds 5 than Ben Wheatley, okay? But yeah, he's kind of not kind of, he is a director and, a very unknown director there that, to his credit, though, he did direct this pretty good movie called Free Fire that came out a few years ago. That's even more unknown than Ben Wheatley. Okay, Free Fire is another one of thousands of movies that have been released that is a fantastic, awesome movie, but people just don't see it, and it's not entirely their fault. The movie is poorly marketed. You don't see any advertisements for it. So how are you supposed to know to go see it if you don't ever see the ads for it, right? So I'm not going to put that on. I'm not going to put that on the people, entirely or anything like that. But yeah, if you basically just look up Free Fire on any of the streaming services there, and I'm sure you'll be able to find Free Fire at least available to purchase somewhere. But all that to say is, yeah, Ben Wheatley, who directed this movie, Normal, directed a great movie called Free Fire a few years ago. It's got like Brie Larson in it right after she won her Oscar, and the that cannibal Army Hammer, and it's got Cillian Murphy. Cillian Murphy there, way before or kind of before. Let's rephrase. Before he won his Oscar for Oppenheimer, okay? So Cillian Murphy's in it as well. So good movie. But anyway, we're here to talk about Normal, not Free Fire here. And kind of like I mentioned before, Bob Odenkirk is in this. He stars in this movie as Sheriff, get this name, Ulysses Richardson. Yeah. Yeah, Ulysses Richardson right there. One of the all-time great names in movies there. So apparently his parents really were into Greek gods and all of that stuff. But that also has Lena Headey or Headey, or I never figured out how to say her last name. But from Game of Thrones, who else? Oh, Henry Winkler. It's got the Fonz in it. If the Fonz was like your grandfather, okay, there you go. And an assorted other cast of characters in this movie as well. But and it just takes place in this little town up in Minnesota, a little snowy little small town called Normal here. But instead of me just rambling on about it here, I mean, I'll go into the plot a little bit here, a little bit after this right here. But just to give you a little taste, let's just play the trailer. Why don't we?
Welcome to Normal, Minnesota. A charming, unassuming town where time moves slow and a friendly face is always just around the corner.
Your eyes, that mouth.
You'll never be far from our local mayor, dedicated deputy sheriff, a friendly mailman, cheerful store owners, cozy eateries. Oh, and our town moose.
The way you law, man.
Life in Normal is quiet, peaceful, predictable. Until it isn't.
Why are they shooting at you?
I'm at a loss.
Jesus.
That's not where I was aiming.
Welcome to Normal.
It flows through my veins.
Seems like a nice town. Might want to visit sometime. Maybe get some of that hot dish. Maybe some good old Minnesota meatloaf or something like that. So, well, yeah, just for some peace and quiet. I might want to go there and just visit old Normal there. And then once the gunfighting, once the murderous mayhem starts, then maybe lay low and crawl out of town there. Maybe jump on the nearest snowmobile and get the hell out. So there you go. But yeah, the plot here, I'll go into it a little bit here. It's just all about Bob Odenkirk's sheriff character, and he's just there temporarily because the former sheriff of this town was found dead, just outside, frozen and whatnot, with an ice auger in one hand and a fishing rod in another. And so Bob Odenkirk shows up at this particular little small town called Normal, and hey, everything seems normal at the beginning here. And hey, what's not normal is I see, hey, Sean Cav has rated the stream over here. So hey, welcome to the show here, and thank you for the raid. There we go. You guys remember those old commercials, the bug spray commercials? I know. I did a spot on impression of that commercial. I know. I'm that good. But anyway, hey, welcome, Sean. Welcome to anybody who comes on into the show here from there. But yeah, so he's the sheriff, and it seems quiet and normal, and everyone's friendly. And then after a little bit, like you kind of hear there, like little breadcrumbs in there, he starts realizing, hey, something's not quite right about this town. I mean, I'm looking here in the police station arsenal, and it looks like they got enough weapons to invade a small country. I mean, if anybody ever wants to reinvade Grenada just come here to this police station. You got plenty of weapons here to do that with. Then, like, the nice old lady who runs the yarn store. She's got a CB and she's got a police scanner. You're like, what? What's that all about? So when she's like, oh, yeah, I run the yarn barn, but I like to have a police scanner on, that kind of thing. So things like that. And then, of course, on top of that, like, you've got this bar and they've got like just the whole decor on the wall is just nothing but guns. Okay, which hey, if you're a gun lover, hey, you think it's great, but Bob Odenkirk's character is like looking around right before you like order some meatloaf. He's like, oh my god, everything on the wall is guns. All right, okay, whatever. I'm okay. Hey, don't break into this place right here. All right, you're gonna get your ass turn into Swiss cheese if you ever try to rob this bar here or this restaurant, whatever. So he sees these various things and just kind of like, gets his spidey sense going. And he's like, something's not right. And then, after a while, things like just something breaks out. They have a bank robbery. And if you watch like some of the other trailers to the show or to this movie, you'll realize, oh, this bank robbery that gets botched just sets everything off right there. And then it's just mayhem and murder and guns blazing, rounds flying all over the place. Okay. It just completely just goes off the handles right there. It goes from Fargo to Rambo in like 5 seconds in this movie. But that's about as much into the plot as I'm going to go into there. It is a fascinating plot to it. Like once you know the entire plot, the ins and the outs and all that stuff. It's a fascinating plot there. And it was like, oh yeah, I'm surprised nobody made a movie about this before here. But yeah, it's definitely worth going to see. So I'm just giving up my stuff right off the bat. I'm going to recommend going to see this movie here. But anyway, we've got more normal to talk about. All right. All right. And as I more than insinuated in my opening to the show here, Normal is like a mashup of Fargo, Nobody, and John Wick. That would make sense since the writer of Normal, Derek Kolstad, also wrote Nobody and a couple of the John Wick movies. I think he wrote like the first two, and then he had somebody else take the reins from there. But the whole character of John Wick, and then Winston, and then the Continental, all the stuff you associate with John Wick actually came from the noggin of Derek Kolstad that wrote this very movie right here. And like in Nobody, Kolstad's script combines exciting action with genuinely funny people and situations. All right. Now, that's one thing about this movie is people in this movie, they actually say more than 7 words throughout the whole movie. As we know in the John Wick movies, you're lucky if you get like 11 words out of Keanu the whole damn movie right there. All right. I mean, he's got more rounds in one mag than words that come out of his mouth in most of the John Wick movies right there. And the first act of Normal is fascinating because it's the calm, peaceful part where the sheriff is, meeting seemingly, friendly, simple people, punctuated every once in a while by something that makes Normal seem not quite right. It's like the community version of when you can tell your kid is hiding something in their hand behind their back, and you ask them like if they have anything, and they just continually mutter like, mm-mm, mm-mm, mm-mm. All right. It's a cover up. Your kid's like lying their ass off to you. Like, I know you got something in your hand. All right. It's whatever. It's probably a cookie or something like that. It's a cover up, but what is being covered up? Now, the townspeople in Normal, they're funny, they're goofy, and some are overly friendly. Like their kindness is concealment, especially the sheriff's deputy who dished out borderline creepy kindness to the sheriff constantly. I mean, he's like doing stuff like he's stopping in to the sheriff's office, just to comment about, hey, sheriff, your mustache is a lot like my mustache. We're like mustache brothers or something, man. Isn't that cool? Hey, can I freshen up your coffee for you? Like kind of, not kind of, definitely annoying you're kind of just overdoing it, kind of overbearing kindness, if that is such a thing right there. And then we have the mayor that you saw there in the trailer. We got the mayor played by the great Henry Winkler, obviously again the Fonz from years ago, and his mayor character is especially part sociable, part sinister. All right, so and let's just say something happens to the mayor that is quite explosive. Okay, we'll put it that way. Now, Kolstad, again, the writer of the movie, creates a fascinating plot that involves international criminality that might be closer to the truth in today's age than we like to think here in America. Since nowadays we pretty much just let anybody and everybody in this country now. Okay, so they just like, we let everybody in and they can bring all the dirts and seediness and criminality that they want to bring in with them. So this is kind of very true to real life here nowadays in this country we live in now. Now, as you briefly saw in that trailer I played, Normal has some good old bloody violence. Sure, it's the land of 10,000 lakes, but it's also the land of 10,000 rounds fired all over the place in this action comedy, affectionately called Normal here. So, and I'll acknowledge this. Yeah, the title of the movie, Normal, it's going to turn some people off. It's not an exciting. It's not this magnetic title that people are like, oh my god, I got to go see this movie. Normal, it's boring. All right, like why don't we just call it belly button lint or dust or something even more boring than that. This is not a an exciting movie title or anything like that. I mean, you can even slap the Marvel logo in front of Normal, and probably you're not going to get that many people going to see it. Marvel, Star Wars, DC, whatever you want. Okay, so but ignore the boring title. This movie is definitely not boring whatsoever. Okay, and also on top of it, if you judge how good a movie is based on the title, you're boring. All right, there you go. All right, moving on. All right, real quick, I'm going to try to speed this next section up because this is the section of the show that people hate the most. And this is the section where I just remind everybody that there is this thing called a like button right on down there. So go ahead and hit that like button there. It costs you absolutely nothing to hit the old like button if you would be so kind. And while you're down there clicking buttons, there's also the subscribe or follow button also down there. Click on that if you haven't already, all right? And then we have the notification bell button down there as well. And all that does is just send you one lowly email a week whenever there's a piping hot, delicious, fresh, not hot new piece of Movies Merica coming straight out of the oven for you, all right? Just one email. That's it, all right? And then really quickly, as I mercifully wrap up this segment here, I just want to say, hi to anybody who's watching the recording of this and you're not watching live. How you doing? And just want to remind you that, yes, we can't talk back and forth with each other like via the live chat because you're not watching the show live, but you can talk to me and I to you via the comments section. That's right on down below. And let me know, hey, if you've seen Normal, let me know what you think. If you haven't, let me know, hey, what's your favorite Bob Odenkirk movie or what's your favorite movie? Or ultimately, you can comment about whatever you want down there in the comments section. I can't stop you, nor would I try, because I'm all about free speech there. So, but anyway, just want to remind you that there's that comment section for anybody who's watching the recording or anybody who watched live too. So there you go. All right, hey, see how he sped that up? I made that nice and fast. There you go. All right, we got some more Normal to talk about right up in here. So, but let me double check something here. And woo, I didn't mean to do that. Wow, that is not good. I hate that. There we go. Let's escape out of there. Get out of there. There we go. Hate that when I hit the wrong button somewhere. That is not good. There we go. Get out of that. You know what? We're just going to pop in chat. There we go. Nice. All right. Yep. That's one of the risks of doing a live show right there. Is when you're too stupid to know like what buttons to click on and you get caught with your pants down right there. But anyway, we got more Normal to talk about. And so Bob Odenkirk does a variation of his nobody character, but without the special forces slash highly trained assassin background. He's more of like an upright version of the Minnesota sheriff he played in Fargo season 1. And if you've seen Fargo season 1 right there, you'll look at his character in Normal and be like, wow, that looks a lot like the sheriff that he played in season 1 of the Fargo TV series there. But here in Normal, he's a go with the flow, easygoing, and flexible kind of sheriff, in man overall, but with some definite demons from his past. All right, this guy, he shares a story to at least one character in this where you're like, wow, okay, all right, okay. So yeah, this guy's been through some shit over here. So you know what, I'm not going to discount this guy right there. He's dealing with some stuff. So yeah, there we go. Not everything's all happy go lucky with this movie there. But now again, the main theme of this movie, or one of the main themes of this movie, is that the sheriff has no idea what he's walked into, and the townspeople are determined to keep it that way. However, Bob Odenkirk's character in this, he was a full-time regular sheriff for a lot of years, as he says, and when his spidey sense tells him there's something wrong, he goes with it, okay? And Odenkirk is masterful at showing empathy towards some of the down and out characters in this little town. And later they end up being his allies. Now, as I say that, you might be like, that's boring. Who cares? Not the thing about a movie that, blows my skirt up or, makes me all excited or gets me all pumped up and whatnot. But it all adds up to a movie where at the end, the payoff is phenomenal because of these little idiosyncrasies of the movie there, like the sheriff, being a easygoing, flexible kind of guy, and being friendly to the downtrodden, the looked down upon people in this town right there. But trust me, it'll be worth it in the end once you see this movie right there. Just hearing me talk about it, I know it's a snooze fest. I get it. Now he even befriends a moose that occasionally makes appearances in town, which, funny enough, it actually makes the mayor jealous. As the mayor explains, he's never seen that effing moose, all right? Because the moose just wanders around town, gets into stuff, and here's the mayor. He's been obviously in this town, I would guess, his whole life. And here's the sheriff. He just got into town. He sees this town moose, this elusive moose, and the mayor is all bent out of shape because he's never seen the moose his whole damn life. Now, writer Derek Kolstad writes surprisingly compelling and intriguing dialogue between his characters, especially between the sheriff and Lena Headey's or Headey's. One of these days, I'm going to learn how to say her last name correctly. I'm going to go with Lena Headey's bar owner character. And then there's a character named Alex, like this young woman who's the daughter of the deceased town sheriff. Remember that sheriff I was telling you that basically they found he was a popsicle there. And so, yeah, she's the daughter of the deceased town sheriff who Ulysses is subbing in for until obviously they elect like a permanent sheriff there. However, if Odenkirk isn't careful, he's going to get typecast into roles like this. Like, remember, like Liam Neeson got, typecast as like rogue assassins or rogue cops, after he did all those Taken movies there. So, plus, with that mustache that Bob Odenkirk has in this movie Normal, he looks an awful lot like his Saul Goodman working at Cinnabon in Nebraska role in Better Call Saul when, he's on the lam, right? He's trying to evade and elude law enforcement in Better Call Saul. There, it's like a continuing theme through Better Call Saul, and he's doing that by relocating to Nebraska and working at a Cinnabon in a mall there. So it looks kind of like that character right there. But real quick here's an interview with him about Normal, where which also features Lena Headey. Again, I'm going with that pronunciation, Lena Headey, who which I have to say, it's fascinating. Speaking of Lena, there, it's fascinating to see Queen Cersei from Game of Thrones playing this small town Minnesota barkeep. I mean, she goes from this massive epic HBO series and being in that for what 70 or what was it? Yeah, eight seasons there to just playing like this kind of just normal little barkeep character in this movie. But again, here's an interview with Bob Odenkirk and Lena Headey.
Bob, I used to watch Mr. Show religiously, and for as much range as you would show, I never would have guessed you'd become such an action star. It's been so cool to see, and you've completely risen to the occasion in these movies. What's been most rewarding about this unlikely rise, and now doing 3 of these movies written by Derek?
It's fun to play a prank on the universe and on all your fans and friends. It really is fun to do something so outside the box. And of course, the fact that it worked, which is to say I got to do more than one, is crazy. Because obviously nobody, if it hadn't worked, I would have looked like an absolute midlife crisis idiot, which I don't mind looking like. I don't mind. That's the thing. If it didn't work, I would have been like, yeah, well, who would have thought that would work? Why, it's, but showbiz is a business that it's hard, but you can reinvent yourself. Of course, I gave it everything I had. I never stopped working to do a good job, but that doesn't mean it'll work out. I feel very lucky that it did.
Yeah, that hard work definitely has paid off. And Lena, this takes place in Normal, Minnesota. And Minnesota has a very iconic accent. How is it finding your voice and that sort of Midwest sensibility that is all throughout this film?
I mean, I think Moira had a sort of outside the small town sensibility. We discussed it. She kind of spent time in New York and had kind of come back to the town and knew everything that was going on. And she's a barkeep. So she hears and sees it all.
And Bob, your character is clearly in a rut. He's afraid to make decisions, and then he's thrown into the situation where he really has to act. What did you like most about this character arc?
Well, I've spent a long time now playing characters who are younger than me, and I think sort of more naive about life than me. And so playing a guy like Ulysses, who's almost too worn down. He's almost too beat up. But I like playing somebody who had lived life and kind of gotten set back on his heels and had to, it just felt like a guy who was my age and maturity level. So I appreciated that.
Yeah, it's a really fun character. And Lena, there's this great scene between you and Bob near the jail cells later on. It's really one of the key story beats. How was it having that showdown with Bob, and what kind of stood out about him as a scene partner?
Bob's very shut down and kind of sticks to the words, and you're not really allowed to play. So it was pretty frustrating, to be fair. No.
Yeah, you know me.
He's a stickler. No, he's fun. I mean, Bob's really generous and
she's the best.
Allows you to play.
Look, when you
just hated my
game
overalls.
recognizes
The only
game,
showdown.
as they say on the streets.
Midlife recognizes midlife.
When you're in a room with people who are. Did you ever see The Bear, the TV show The Bear?
Yeah.
You ever see the Christmas episode?
Yes.
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. Well, that's
not
me
seen
and Lena in that scene in the jail cell. It's 2 actors. They got some meat on the bone, and they both tear at it. It's great.
Fascinating right there. So just to hear from Bob Odenkirk and Lena Headey right there. So I saw Lena Headey there. I kept on waiting for her to like bust out some kind of Queen Cersei, some bitchy Queen Cersei line from Game of Thrones right there. Also, remember she was the main baddie on the fantastic movie Dread with Carl Urban, the criminally underseen Dread when it came out at the theaters, came out at the movies right there. And now it's a beloved movie right there. But anyway, so yeah, I just wanted to give you some inside stuff there from old Bob and Lena there about normal. All right. So hopefully you guys are hearing what I'm saying right now, and you're like, oh my God, I can't wait to go see Normal. Hey, honey, check the show times for Normal. Normal? That's a boring name for a movie. Who cares? Oh, Movies Merica, old Van over here is telling us to go see Normal right there. So do it, woman. All right. There you go. That's hopefully what you guys are saying there. Or, or the tides might be turning like, hey, look up the movies, time there, husband. All right. Get on it, hubby. There you go. So, all right. Depending on who wears the pants in the family. Okay. There you go. All right. So enough about that right here. I'm getting thirsty. Maybe you're getting thirsty too. I've been sipping off a beer over here the whole time. Hopefully you guys are too, or drinking whatever you guys are drinking. Maybe you're drinking a Cosmo, or you're just drinking water, whatever the hell you're drinking. Go to town, do it to it. I'm drinking a brew, and not only am I drinking a brew, I'm reviewing a brew here on Brew Review Time. All right, allow me to introduce you to the brew for today, right there. Let me give you a good look right there. There you go. And this is and I'm sure I'm gonna blow this pronunciation right here. Is Westmall or Westmolly Trappist Dubel or something like that. So I know I'm an ugly American. I don't know how to pronounce words right there. But yeah, this is a Belgian Dubel or double style beer here. And if you can actually see in a bottle, if I poured it into a pint glass, you see that it's a dark reddish brown ale here. And this brew goes way back in the day. Now, not this particular bottle right here, but I mean just the brew itself there. Actually was started to get brewed here like I don't know, the 9th century or something like that. So, I mean, because it was actually first brewed, and it still is brewed by Trappist monks there. And Trappist monks, you might be able to, where's the name Trappist come from? Well, it comes from, there's a town in France called La Trappe or Trappe or however the French say that. And so that's where the word Trappist comes from as far as Trappist monks right there. And still to this day, it's brewed in this town of Westmalle or Molly, hence the name of the beer right there, which is in the Antwerp province of Belgium. And they brew it in this place called the Abbey of Our Lady of the Sacred Heart. There you go. And again, it's still a bunch of Trappist monks that are brewing that in there. And actually, it's, actually I had an idea. Essentially, this was first brewed in 1836. So it was not first brewed back in the 9th century, but 1836 is still quite a while ago, okay? I mean, that was like what, Joe Biden's 35th birthday right there. So still quite a ways away, still quite a bit back there. And I say that they have, with all that time, they have perfected this recipe. They perfected this brew because this stuff is pretty damn good. And so I'm telling you right here, right now, you should get this beer right here, right now. Okay, so, and it comes to us with an alcohol by volume of 7% and a IBU rating of 30. And IBU stands for International Bitterness Units, basically how bitter it is right there. So 30 is not that bad. Okay, now, well, that's if you don't like bitter beers right there. So it's not that bad. You might like bitter beers. I mean, you might be a big, double IPA fan, which are very, very bitter right there. And so let's get into the nitty gritty. Let's do a deep dive on this beer here. So the ingredients that they make this with are, of course, water, barley malt, candy sugar, 6 European flower hop varieties, and a proprietary Westmall yeast strain, and a partridge in a pear tree. Yeah, all that stuff right there, okay? And then as far as the carbonation there, it's naturally high due to secondary fermentation or bottle conditioning, resulting in tight champagne-like bubbles. Okay, there you go. But yeah, I mean, this just proves, that those Trappist monks, especially the ones in Belgium, can make themselves some beer. That is for sure. All right. And now I think that, what I like to do here as I'm talking about brew and reviewing a brew here is I don't want to just talk about the beer. I also like to talk about like what foods that the brews pair well with here. And so this beer goes very, very well according to the experts. Okay. It goes very well with like a mushroom risotto. All right. Or beef carbonade or something like that. So basically it goes good with beef stew. Okay. Well, beef stew. If you got like a nice kind of like a Americanized comfort dish that involves rice or something like that. Think I don't know. Like if you just like get yourself like a big box of rice-a-roni, beef rice or something like that, it'd probably go good with that right there. So or like probably some lo mein, something like that. There you go pretty good with that. Goes good with rich stews and gamey meats like venison there. Now, of course, I mean, we're talking France, we're talking, Belgium. So, of course, we got to talk cheeses, right? And so this beer would go good with like a good, well aged Gouda, blue cheese. Now, if you ask me, I hate blue cheese. Blue cheese doesn't go good with anything other than a garbage can. So, or some washed rind Abbey cheeses there. All right, we're getting fancy. We're getting very cultured up in this brew review time over here. So, or if you want to, and this may sound weird to beer drinkers, but if you want to try it with like a dessert or with some dessert items, you can try it with chocolate truffles or fruit-based sweets like blackberries right there. Okay, so we're all about culture here on Movies Merica there, all right? Don't want to just tell you about the beer. I want to tell you about some good foods that it pairs well with. So you're living your best life there, everybody. There you go, okay? But enough of me talking about this brew here right here. I'm really dying to get another drink off this because, like I said, this is some good stuff. All right. So, yep, check that out right there. But it's kind of a nice, simplified bottle right there. Not too much to it or anything like that. So, and again, we're talking about monks that make this brew right here. So they're not going to go over the top. They're going to keep things simple and all that stuff here with their brew. But and also talking about those crazy, crazy monks that brew this beer. They also make stuff like fruitcake, cheese, yogurt, stuff like that. So that kind of thing right there. So they've got stuff like that they make right there because they got to keep business because they swore a vow of celibacy. I don't know if brewing beer replaces that. I'm pretty sure probably it does not, but I'm not going to not going to try that anytime soon right there. So, all right, let's do this here real quick. And we're going to wrap up this brew review time. But real quick, I should probably let you know that actually you can get via an app like the Open Bar app on your phone. It's available like on Android and iOS there. If you've got this beer in town, you can get it Uber Eats. Uber Eats doesn't just deliver your Taco Bell now; they'll deliver booze to your door. And if you live nowhere near where this beer is available at, you can go to someplace like the website gopuff.com, which specializes in getting beer anywhere. Okay, so say you live in the North Pole, but you want to give yourself a nice six pack of some cerveza. You're gonna get your six pack. You want to get a six pack of Corona, and you live with your sled dogs in the North Pole, so you've got no Corona anywhere near you, right? Well, to fire up some GoPuff.com, and they'll get you that Corona or some Modelo your way right there. And now it might cost you some scratch right there, but they will get that beer in your hand. So there you go. Check that out. Just wanted to let you guys know all about that. So then I am not, just hogging all the good beer to myself. I don't want to be that guy. All right. I'm trying to change my evil ways here. Right. But again, with that, let's wrap up this brew review time. All right, I'm double checking here. Let's see here. I want to double check something real quick. All right. And let's do this. All right. So just want to show you something here before I go on and talk about some more normal here because yeah, definitely we will be talking about some normal, but let me get out of that and because it's time for me to tantalize you with something that you are really going to want to know. Get your minds out of the gutter, everybody. All right, it's not that kind of show. All right. Not at all. But let me share this out for you guys. Here we go. Get this going on and go over here and show you the old Movies Merica merch store, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. All right. So that way, not only, do you have the opportunity to watch Movies Merica, you have the opportunity to wear Movies Merica. All right. And yeah, it's going to go through here, just show you real quick here, just some of the items we have available here when it comes to Movies Merica merch right there. And you see, we got hats, we got T-shirts here. Now, this logo, this Movies Merica logo we're looking at here is the first Movies Merica logo available. This is the Big Mugs Movies Merica logo there. For called big mugs for obvious reasons right here. So no Sydney Sweetie involved right here. That would be big jugs, not big mugs. Here, it's all about big mugs here. So, but we got the big mugs logo on stuff like hoodies and windbreakers. And we got this baseball long sleeve here and a tank top there as well. We got big mugs on a sports bra there. We got the big mugs on some hats as well. And you've got it in assorted colors there as well. You can go and click it here and you can get it in various colors there. Now, that is I got to say, obviously, it is not my interest to tell you that that's a hideous looking hat. That's a hideous looking hat right there with that color right there. So I go with something like, yeah, that's kind of, that's not my style right there. There you go. Gray, good and boring, just like me. All right, there you go. But yeah, all that to say, the point of that is to show you that yes, you can get different colors with all these items right here. And now we're down to the Hollyweird version of Movies Merica logos. It's the Hollyweird logo there, and yeah, as you can see, we got different T-shirts, tank tops. We got the pullover hoodie, all of this stuff right here. And then as we go a little lower here, we've got my personal favorite Movies Merica logo. It's the Black Adam style Movies Merica logo, and yeah, I think it just looks tight, looks good, right there. So with the T-shirts and baseball long sleeve, all of that stuff right there. Now you might be saying, "Hey Van, that's great. You got all these clothes, all these hats, all the sports bra. But Van, I've got all of these items. I've got all the shirts. I've got everything that you can wear, minus the sports bra, hung up in my closet there." But so I'm not in the market for that. But you know what? I am very thirsty. I like to drink a lot. Okay, a lot. All right, like to the point where for the local police, it's a problem. All right, and so hey, can you do you happen to have any kind of Movies Merica drinkware? And to you, friend, I would say get ready to be happy because yes, we do have drinkware with the Movies Merica logo emblazoned all over. We got the pint glass. We got this can-shaped glass. If you're weird and you drink your booze out of a coffee mug, hey, there you go. We got that there as well. We got koozies, all kinds of Movies Merica merch for your pleasure. There you go. And you know what? Hey, if you are especially generous, if you're like, hey, I don't need any Movies Merica merch for myself, I've got too much already, and you want to like give the gift of merch to somebody else right there, maybe you had a big fight with your mom and your dad and you don't want to get written out of the will. Well, nothing says I love you, mommy and daddy, like a good old Movies Merica coffee mug right there. Get mommy a coffee mug, get daddy a coffee mug. There you go. And get your ass back in that will and testament. There you go. So all right, it's all good. And because Movies Merica merch is all about healing familial wounds. All right, there you go. But it's very easy. It's very, very easy to get to this Movies Merica website because we've got the link to this website down in the description there. So go ahead and check that out right there. And yeah, get in there and go crazy in that store and get yourself a T-shirt or something like that. There you go. All right. Enough about that. Don't ever say that I didn't give you nothing. I turned you on to some good old Movies Merica merch. So if you say I've never offered you something, hey, that'd be a lie. That'd be a lie. There you go. All right. So what should we do next, everybody? Here, I mean, we got some more normal to talk about, don't we? I know we do. So let's go ahead. Let's move on here with the show. All right, got an itchy shoulder over here. There we go. All right. Hate when that happens, right? There you go. All right. So we got more normal to talk about, and more specifically, I have got some random thoughts about normal. And the movie Normal does that thing we've seen in modern action movies where you play a seemingly mismatched song during some high intensity gunplay. Stuff like playing the song "A Beautiful Day." I forget who does that song, but like playing this "A Beautiful Day," like this low key, very peaceful kind of hippie kind of song during a gunfight at a bank robbery, or like Dr. Hook's, when you're in love with a beautiful woman, playing over the big, finale gunfight and battle and all that. However, it doesn't feel contrived because the rest of the movie has earned it. Like I was talking about before, where the writer Derek Olstad, he writes, the Sheriff Ulysses Henderson, I think is his name, like how he gets along with all the characters, and like there's all this good character development and character arcs and all that stuff. All of that adds up to the point where, yeah, when they start doing these needle drops during the action scenes, it doesn't feel contrived right there. It's the opposite. Let's put it this way. It's the opposite of that Suicide Squad movie that came out, back in 2016, that had like a needle drop every 3.2 seconds. Since those filmmakers thought, we don't have to worry about interesting characters and a good story here in this Suicide Squad movie. We'll just be like Guardians of the Galaxy and just keep playing hit songs instead. Hit song after hit song after hit song. That's going to be our secret to success right there. Except to give Guardians credit. Guardians remembered the interesting characters and good story part, and so does Normal. You got to have those first two crucial ingredients: interesting characters, good story, all right, in order to earn the good needle drops, for the needle drops to really have some impact when you do the needle drop right there. And then another random thought I had about the movie Normal is this movie would play very, very well during like a Minnesota-based films festival there. I mean, you could add this to a film festival list with like Fargo and Grumpy Old Men, Nobody's Fool. Remember Nobody's Fool with Paul Newman and Bruce Willis and Melanie Griffith there. That movie took place in a small Minnesota town. All movies were introduced to quirky Minnesota towns and characters, all with a subtext of conflict. Some conflict involving family ties, and others involving bullets, bombs, and of course, wood chippers. All right, there you go. But those are just some random thoughts I had about the movie Normal, again, which is a movie you should definitely go see, everybody. All right, so because God knows it needs the numbers, because it came in at the number 7 spot at the box office this week. Now that's partly because it wasn't in as many theaters as some of the bigger movies that came out there, like Super Mario Galaxy and Project Hail Mary and some of those movies, Hoppers, and what was that? You, Me, and Tuscany, or some stupid romantic comedy. Ugh. All right, so that explains some of the lower numbers, but also I think probably the big thing that explains lower numbers is a movie title like Normal. Okay, all right, because a lot of people just kind of hear. I mean, a lot of people stupidly decide, am I going to see a movie based on the movie title? Okay, and so if that's your mentality, then yeah, you're probably not going to rush out to go see a movie called Normal. Okay, but you should. So yeah, definitely go ahead and check out that movie. Real quick here, just let me take a couple minutes here just to remind you that this Sunday show, this Movies Merica live show, is not the only Movies Merica show that there is on during the week. I also do my Thursday night show, and that is my Movies Merica spoiler warning show. And that's where I talk about the same movie that I talk about here on Sunday. I talk about that on Thursday night, but I don't worry about dropping spoilers on Thursday night. Okay, if I drop a spoiler on Thursday night, that's all good because, again, the name of the show on Thursday night is Movies Merica Spoiler Warning. So I'm even warning you with the name of the show that there could be some spoilers, okay? And so, yeah, join me on Thursday night there where we'll be talking about Normal in more detail. I'll be doing a deeper dive. I'll be, busting out the scalpel and the suction. We'll do an autopsy on this sucker. And that show comes on Thursday night at 7 Eastern, 6 Central, 5 Mountain, and 4 p.m. Pacific time there on Thursday night there. And easy to watch it. All you got to do is, like, if you want to go to my X account, which is under @Movies Merica, or you can go to my Facebook page, or just go to Rumble or YouTube and just type in Movies Merica and Normal. There you go. And you'll see the way to join the show there on Thursday right there. It's all good in the hood, and check that out there. So, but again, yeah, hey, don't hog on the Movies Merica for yourself right there. Okay, go ahead and you send the links out to your friends, your family, all of that stuff right there. Okay, send it to your crazy Uncle Frank, your lazy sister, Mary, or whoever. All right, there you go. Send it to everybody and check me out on Thursday. Now, one thing you could do here is, if you haven't seen a movie and you're worried about spoilers, understandably, if you want to help me out here, which you may not want to, but if you want to help me out in a way that costs you no money whatsoever and costs you a whopping 5 seconds of your time, is if you click the link to start the show in Rumble or YouTube, doesn't matter which, or both. There you go. And then just mute it. And then that way you're helping me out with watch minutes, where, the number of minutes people watch a show. And also, you're not spoiling the movie for yourself right there. Okay. So that's what I do with, like, some shows, right? Like Sean Cav, who rated the show earlier. I'll fire up his show, like, on some computer I have in a back room where I unfortunately don't have time to watch it, actively. So I'll fire up his show, I'll mute it, and then I'll go do what I have to do there. That helps him out right there. And so I just ask people that they do the same with my show. If you got to go to the kitchen, you got to bake some chocolate chip cookies, and you don't have time to watch my show, just click the link, start up the show, mute that sucker, and go live your life right there. And that just helps me out. And it costs you no money whatsoever to do that right there. So there we go. Enough about that. But hey, we got an Unfolding Joker up in the live chat right there. And he says, Van's the man with a movie review plan. I like that. That rhymes. I like that. There you go. There you go. I'm easily entertained by things that rhyme. I like it. All right. So, but thank you for that very creative contribution, Unfolding Joker. That is super, super, super sweet right there. So let's move on with the show. All right. And so now to a very important segment of every Sunday Movies Merica show. And that, of course, is when I tell you whether the movie for this week is a woke after school special. All right. Now, some of you might be asking, if you're on the young side there, you might be asking, hey, what is an after school special? I know what woke is, unfortunately, but what's an after school special? Well, I shall tell you there, youngins, all right? You young whippersnappers, okay, I'll tell you. When back in my day, we had these things called after school specials, and they sucked. So, an after school special, what it is back in like the late 70s, early 80s, maybe throughout the 80s, they had these shows where you would fire them up, you would watch them on TV, and there were these shows meant to, like, teach kids, valuable lessons, like, don't smoke cigarettes, don't do drugs, you lock the door when you jerk off. Like, don't get into vans with no windows, rolling down the street, especially if it's got some guy looks like Joe Biden and he rolls down his windows like, hey kids, come on in and get some free candy from Uncle Joe. You can rub the hair on my legs, and you can meet my friends over here. Yeah, there you go. Well, you can meet my friend Corn Pop over here. So valuable lessons, teaching kids don't do dangerous things, don't do things that are going to get you hurt and all that stuff, right? So good lessons, their heart was in the right place, but these after school specials were just amazingly corny, very cheesy, okay? And so now with that, now we've got all these movies that come out, and movies are meant to be entertaining or informational and entertaining, right? Not lectures, not sermons and that kind of thing. And so we've had a lot of movies that in the last 15, 20 years are more determined to be a boring ass woke after school special telling you how to live the best tranny lifestyle and how to live the best woke lifestyle. And you know what? It's bad enough if you hear that shit for free, but it's really bad when you pay $20 a ticket at the movie theater to hear that crap, right? You don't want to do that. And so, yeah, that's part of my job here at Movies Merica HQ is to warn you if a movie is a woke after school special. So there you go. And so, is Normal a woke after school special? Well, is the ice fishing better in Miami than it is in Minnesota? No, this is not a woke after school special. And I think Derek Kolstad, again, the writer of this movie Normal, is smart enough to know that John Wick works, John Woke doesn't. Okay. And I mentioned John Wick because this movie is kind of John Wick in small town Minnesota. So, yes, so Happy Days are here again, everybody. Well, that's another 70s show right there. Happy Days, partly starring Henry Winkler, that plays the mayor here in Normal there. But yeah, thank God, no woke after school special here. We've got filmmakers here that are smart enough to know, all right, yeah, people don't want to hear woke. They want to be entertained. All right. And this movie will entertain you. I mean, you've got, gunfights. You got people getting blown up with grenade launchers in this movie, for God's sakes. You got people being killed by flaming police cars falling down on them and that kind of thing. Got great, gunplay, and you got C4 explosives, and you've got dynamite and then you got ice cream, all the things that make life worth living, right? Explosives and ice cream. There you go. I mean, come on. What 13-year-old, wasn't happy, in their adolescence without some dynamite and ice cream? There you go. Which just sounds like the name of like some U2 record, right? Dynamites and ice cream or something like that. Anyway, but I digress. But yeah, that's enough of me telling you whether or not this movie is a woke after school special. All right, here. Let's move on with the show here by actually just letting you guys know that if you're appreciating anything that I'm doing here, like warning you if a movie is a dumbass woke after school special, or just letting you know if this movie is good or not, okay? If you appreciate that enough to maybe throw a $1 or $2 my way there, you most certainly can do that. And I'll show you how to do that in Rumble and YouTube, I should say. So if you're watching on Rumble there, all you got to do is fire up the live chat window by clicking on the chat button or live chat button. I forget which one it's called. But yeah, fire up the live chat window. And then down at the bottom of said live chat window, down by where you would type in your live chat message, in Rumble, there's a button with a $sign on it. Just click on that. It'll ask you how much you want to throw to this chucklehead right here. And that's it. Very simple, very easy, all right? Now, on Rumble, there's also a little button down there right next to that $sign button with a little gift box on it. And if you click on that, you can gift a gifted subscription to anybody else there in the live chat right there. I think that's like $5 to do that. So, yeah. So, if you're a good guy, good gal, and you're like, hey, I like, somebody, I like the people in the live chat that I'm hanging out with. I want to gift them like a gift subscription to Movies Merica. There you go. You can prove you're all around good guy or good gal there in the live chat. Now let's move on to the tube of views, or commonly known as YouTube. And the way it works in YouTube, as far as like maybe throwing a $1 or $2 or however much you want my way, it's very similar. It's uncanny how similar it is. So in YouTube, fire up the live chat in YouTube via their chat or live chat button right on down there. And then down at the bottom of the live chat window where you would type in your live chat message, look for a button with a $1 bill on it. Click on that. It'll just ask you how much you want to give, again, to your humble host right here. Again, very simple, very easy. That's all there is to that right there. Okay. So enough of me begging for money. That's only if you feel like throwing a buck or two my way. I know times are tough. We don't have all the money in the world, or you might just be outright like, hey, Van, you don't deserve one penny out of my wallet there. All right. So there you go. And hey, you know what? Mad respect. There you go. If you feel that way, that just means I have to work smarter. There you go. But anyway, enough of me begging for money. I just feel dirty already as it is. All right. So my final thoughts about the movie Normal is, of course, go see this thing. Go see this bad boy. Go check this movie out. Now it's R-rated because it's got a bunch of F-bombs and it's got some bloody violence in this. So yeah, don't take the kiddies to this movie there. I mean, if you take like a 10, 11, 12-year-old to this movie, not a big deal. I mean, just tell them, hey, all those F-bombs that you hear, don't say those words. Don't say that. At least not when I'm around. Okay. Say it when your grandma's around. No, definitely don't say it. Don't say it then. Right there. But so yeah, I mean, it's not the worst. I mean, it's not like taking your kid to go see 50 Shades of Grey or anything like that. But yeah, if you don't want to take your kids to a movie with a bunch of F-bombs and bloody violence there, understandable right there. And then get yourself a babysitter or some creepy guy that drives a van with no windows. Oh, wait, what am I talking about? Did I learn nothing from that after school special? You're not supposed to do it. You're not supposed to talk to strangers that drive vans with no windows there. There you go. Okay. But all that to say is, yeah, go check out this movie. Again, like I said, this movie came in at number 7 at the box office, okay, there. And it came in at number 7 behind some real cinematic suck, okay? So, kind of help the movie out. Tell Hollywood, hey, we want more original action comedies like this. And you will be thoroughly entertained. You will not be bored for 1 second because the action, when it starts, man, it hits. It freaking hits there. So don't be basic and just wait for it to come out on streaming. Okay. I mean, just to warn you, movie studios are starting to get away from that formula that a lot of couch sitters have been enjoying, where they'll release a movie in the theaters and it comes out 5 seconds later on 5 seconds later on Netflix or Amazon. They're starting not to do that stuff anymore. All right, they're going to move away from that. So better to get used to going to see movies that you want to go see at the theater right there. Okay, so there you go. But that's my final thoughts about this movie here. All right, but yeah, we're getting ready to wrap up this episode right there, right here. But real quick here before I wrap up this show, I just want to just implore you, if you would follow me on the platforms, the sites that I'm on. I'm on X, as I said before, under @Movies Merica. You can find me on Facebook. I've got a Movies Merica page and group there. I've got my Van Ebert profile page on Facebook. I'm on Rumble. If you look up Movies Merica on Rumble, you're going to see like 3 Rumble accounts. And if you would, please, follow, subscribe, all 3 of them. That would be fantastic. Again, it costs you no money whatsoever, $0. Okay. And then also I'm on a Gab if you're a Gab guy or a Gab gal. I'm on Instagram as well. And yeah, so check me out on all those platforms and follow me there if you are so inclined. That would be fantastic. Again, it costs you no money and approximately 0.3 seconds of your time to do that thing right there. All right. So there you go. And yeah, and my man Sean Cav, he rated the show here. So go check out, go hunt down, that sounded kind of ominous right there. Go search Sean Cav on Rumble right there. It's spelled SHAWNCAV, so no space. Okay, so check him out on Rumble there and check out his fantastic content right there. Okay, but again, yeah, if you want to go see a movie that combines John Wick with Fargo and Nobody there with Bob Odenkirk, yeah, go check out this movie Nobody right there. But anyway, I'm wrapping up this show, and as I always say, get out there, people. Those movies aren't going to watch themselves. See ya. Howdy, my movie maniacs and my fellow freedom-fueled film fanatics. would you do me a favor and check me out at solo.to/Movies Merica. That's where you would go for a one-stop shop for all the links that have to do with me, Movies Merica. And then also, if you want to check out the audio-only podcast versions of my Movies Merica live episodes, that's my spoiler-free reviews that I do on Sunday, you can go to moviesmerica.com or Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, places like that. And then, actually, if you would also check me out on the social media sites like X and Instagram and Facebook and Gab. And I'm on those locations all under @Movies Merica. So it is very easy to find me out there, all right? So get to it, everybody. All right, thanks for watching. Later.
Hey guys, don't leave the video quite yet. Okay, I've got the popo. They're coming after me, and I don't have much time to tell you, but you need to like and subscribe this video right here down below. It's right down there. It's just waiting. It's waiting for you down there, okay? And make sure you watch these videos over here too. You'll be doing me a big favor. I'll be in handcuffs pretty soon. All right, thanks for watching.